All right, UFC 318 wrapped up, and it is matchmaking time. I have matchmade most of the people on this card, honestly. I've done a lot of the matchmaking. The winners on the prelims, pretty much everyone on the main card that I thought was worth matchmaking. Obviously, you will not see Dustin Poirier here. He has retired, sadly. Oh, it's sad. It's sad, man. But you know what? I bet we see him on the ESPN commentary desk. And I bet that he, randomly at the age of 40, gets like one more McGregor fight or like a Diaz fight out of nowhere or something. So I'm not calling it. I hope it's done though, because that was just a good retirement, like in your hometown and everything. Anyway, let's talk about the fighters on the card. Max Holloway. I know he's talked about Ilia Topuria. It's not like we're not doing the Topuria fight next, dude. Like we need fresh matchups for the champion. We need. It can't be Topuria, man. I don't want to watch him fight Topuria again. If he gets another win, like he wants a Topuria fight, and I acknowledge that. But he needs another win, and another big win over a big name, and it needs to be in spectacular fashion. Much like how he destroyed Dustin Poirier, he's going to have to destroy or knock out this next opponent. I think it's the Charles Oliveira fight. Dude, I get that they fought back in like 2014 or some shit, but it ended due to injury. Like, Charles got stretchered off. It doesn't make sense to not do this fight. Like, this is the fight to make. 110%. Do it in December. Make it a 5-round co-main for whatever the December pay-per-view is going to be. Boom, done. If you can stack the December card and make this a 5-round feature fight, that'd be sick. If you had, like, who would be in the main event? Like maybe a Volkanovski and then a Pantoja co-main, or maybe you do a Pantoja and Van main event, and then this is a co-main event to really help boost the card. Like, this is a great co-main event that'll help sell any card. Because I got a feeling, well, we know they're going to do JDM versus Islam in MSG. We know that's happening. I'm willing to bet Kayla Harrison, Amanda Nunes co-mains that. That would be my best guess, is that fight will co-main. We got other champions that really do need to be fighting too. Like in October, we're getting in Abu Dhabi, we're getting Aspinall versus Gan. Early October, we're getting Pereira Ankalaev and then Sandhagen versus Marab. So then Pantoja, I think, gets left for December. Volkanovski, where does he go, right? Does he co-main against Evloev in Abu Dhabi in October? I could see that. But then again, you have like Evloev coming off of a couple months and then he's fighting for the title. Like, I guess we'll see. You're going to have Duplessis fighting Chimaev, and we know that if Chimaev wins, he's not fighting until next year. Duplessis, I mean, they're fighting in August, so realistically, the winner of that can be a January pay-per-view. Ilia Topuria, I'd like to see fight before the end of the year, too. The thing is, he's a main event guy, so maybe you have him main event December. I don't know. We'll talk about what we do for pay-per-views for the rest of the year in another video. I think Max versus Oliveira needs to be done. And I don't want to get to a point in life where we're like, these guys are literally retired or on the verge of retirement. We look 5 years down the road and we're looking back saying, I can't believe we never got this fight. We need to have this fight happen. It's a huge matchup. While both of them still have massive names, they're both still very, very good, very talented. They're not necessarily washed yet. They're not in their primes anymore. Max may still be at the end of his prime here, but they're not washed. They're both very talented fighters. They're two of the biggest names at lightweight. Match them up against each other. We need these big matchups. These are the co-main type matchups for pay-per-views that we need to start seeing. So I say Max versus Charles Oliveira, co-main event for the December pay-per-view. Perfect. Perfect. Moving on. Paulo Costa, huge win. I don't think the Chimaev matchup's next. He called out Chimaev. If Chimaev loses, I actually don't entirely mind the matchup because really, you can justify it. It's like, who's Chimaev beat in the middleweight rankings? Well, he beat Usman. That's a good win, even though it was kind of a draw. And then he submitted Whitaker. That's an insane win, but there's no one else really in those rankings that he's beaten. We know he beat Gilbert Burns. We know he beat Li Jingliang, but like, you can justify a Paulo Costa matchup if Chimaev loses because it's a really big matchup, and again, it's a co-main level thing where they're going to shit talk the whole time, and it's going to be a good fight. But I don't think that's going to be the fight yet because I think Paulo Costa will look to come back by the end of the year, hopefully. Hopefully we can get him active. I say we do feature fight or fourth fight down on the main card in MSG. Paulo Costa versus Jared Cannonier. Jared Cannonier is a fight coming up in August on the Chimaev pay-per-view. I think he's going to beat MVP. I honestly think he's going to beat MVP, and I feel like a Jared Cannonier Paulo Costa matchup would go insane. I feel like this matchup would go absolutely insane. If you could make this a co-main event, you can make this a main event, honestly, of a fight night card. Like you go to Brazil, make this the main event of a fight night. That'd be sick. You go to, I just don't know that you can trust Paulo Costa in the main event. You know what I mean? With making weight and everything like that, not pulling out. But if you do Paulo Costa versus Cannonier as a main event for like a Brazil, a co-main event for any other fight night, you do this as a fourth fight on the main card at MSG. You do this as a fight in Abu Dhabi, right? Like a feature fight or a fourth fight down in Abu Dhabi because we know they stack those cards like crazy. That's how you make this matchup, man. And we're really missing out not having a September pay-per-view, honestly. Because now we're like in a spot where title fights and pay-per-views are going to be all pushed down and stuff. We may get a stacked pay-per-view coming up now, but honestly, you can do this in it. I really think like this is a great fight to put on in MSG in maybe the December pay-per-view. If you do this as the, fourth fight down on the main card, right? It's the second fight coming up on the main card, not the co-main. You know what I mean? There's the main card opener, and then there's the fourth or second, whichever way you go. But I think that's where this is a main card fight. It's not a feature fight necessarily, but this is a main card fight for a pay-per-view right here, in my opinion. So I say Paulo Costa, Jared Cannonier is absolutely perfect. I don't know how they managed to pass off Paulo Costa, Roman Kopylov as a pay-per-view or as a co-main, but probably didn't sell too many pay-per-views anyway, so it is what it is. Roman Kopylov lost, looked unimpressive. Doesn't have any wins against guys in the rankings here, really. G-Rod, I think G-Rod deserves another jump up in the rankings. Had a very good fight with Jared Cannonier, lost, but then comes back and slumps Jack Hermanson. So I think it's time for him to try and get a shot back in the rankings just against a guy that's not top 7 or top 10. So I think Roman Kopylov's the perfect spot. Kopylov's probably going to be 14 or 15 tomorrow morning when we look at the rankings. And I think Gregory Rodriguez is the perfect fight to make in this sense. I mean, it makes sense to me, right? It's Gregory Rodriguez getting a chance to jump back up in number 14 or 15 in the rankings versus Roman Kopylov, who needs to defend his ranking spot, has looked unimpressive, or looked very unimpressive against Paulo Costa. I think this is where you kind of see, is Roman Kopylov ranked material, or like G-Rod's a good test for him. So I think this is a good fight to make. This is a feature fight of a crowded fight night. Honestly, you can put this as the prelim headliner in Abu Dhabi. I think this would be a great prelim headliner in Abu Dhabi. This would be a great prelim fight in general in Abu Dhabi. Maybe co-main of the prelims. But that's what I would do. Roman Kopylov versus Gregory Rodriguez, prelim headliner Abu Dhabi. Daniel Rodriguez wins. Gonna be in the ranking. I think a Wonder Boy fight would make sense, dude. You got two fucking unks duking it out. Wonder Boy announces, hey, I want a retirement fight, right? Okay, we're going to give you a ranked Daniel Rodriguez, a name that's ranked, right? But someone that you can probably beat. This is a good retirement type fight for Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. It's a nice matchup for him that he'll probably win. And D-Rod gets another big name that he gets a chance to fight against and shows us that he can possibly improve and deserve his ranking spot because Kevin Holland just isn't, guess he's really not all that. But this would make sense. Two fathers of Kevin Holland right here, right? Like it's Daniel Rodriguez versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. This is a sick fight. It's going to be a sick fight. And you do this as the co-main event. You do this as the feature fight of any main card of a fight night. It's cinema. It is cinema. You put this as a prelim in MSG. Honestly, this is a great prelim headliner for MSG as well. This is a great prelim headliner for the pay-per-view in December. I say prelim headliner for a pay-per-view in November or December, or I say do this fight on the main card, like feature fight, co-main, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson retirement fight of a fight night in November or December. I think that's when you do it, so that's the fight I'm going to make. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, Daniel Rodriguez, December. Kevin Holland. Buddy, your time has come. It's time for Kevin Holland to lose his second in a row so that way after he can go on a 2-fight win streak, right? So I think Kevin Holland, Randy Brown makes a ton of sense. I mean, these guys are tall guys for the division, both good fighters. Like, I'll keep it real, they're both good fighters. But Randy Brown deserves a shot against like a bigger name, someone that's going to get him ranked. If Randy Brown wins this fight, he'll be ranked. He should be 15 or 14 ranked at that point. And I think Kevin Holland needs to kind of fight against a guy like Randy Brown here. Now, I think Holland's going to need a little bit of time off. Nothing crazy, but I think this is a fight made as a. I think this is a good co-main event of a fight night. I do. I think this is a great co-main event of like an Apex card. Kevin Holland, Randy Brown, October fight night. Put this on the main card. Feature fight, right? Feature fight would be sick. I'd be okay with anywhere from main card opener to maybe not a co-main event, like a main card opener to a feature fight on a fight night. That would make sense to me. I think it's a great fight to make. Put it in front of a crowd. Kevin Holland draws attention. Randy Brown needs a guy that draws attention. He deserves his chance, and he's a sick fighter as well. So I think this would be an awesome fight. Kevin Holland, Randy Brown. It sells itself. Patricio Pitbull. I never get excited watching this guy. I say David Onama. Pitbull's the kind of guy that you're going to want to use as a name to build your other contenders off of. Another guy that's ranked here is David Onama. Just put Pitbull versus David Onama, man. Try and get David Onama another recognizable win. He, quote-unquote, beat Giga Chikadze, even though I thought he lost. But give him a Pitbull fight. See if he can win against a guy with a bigger name here, and then try and draw some more interest to him, because he's a guy you're going to want to kind of promote in this division here. Featherweight's running a little thin with new talent. You have guys that are way outside the rankings that are coming up. You have the Vallejoses. You have the Felipe Lima was a featherweight, but now he went back down to bantamweight, which is questionable. But you have other guys outside the rankings that I just can't think of right now. The Jose Delgados and stuff like that. Like, I wouldn't mind that matchup, but I think Pitbull's got to fight a guy that's ranked right now and try and build one of your lower level ranked guys off of Pitbull. So Steve Garcia could work as well. But I think Steve Garcia uses Zalal's a good fight to make. So I would say David Onama, a guy you're going to try and build up versus Patricio Pitbull here. Fucking co-main of an Apex card, please. I don't want to. I'm not paying to watch fucking Pitbull, dude. He's not entertaining. Every time I've watched him so far, he's been boring as fuck. So I say Onama versus Pitbull co-main of any Apex card coming up in October, right? November, whatever. Makes sense. Danny Ige. Nathaniel Wood. I think Nathaniel Wood deserves a shot against one of these bigger named guys as well. Like, Danny Ige has got a name. He's someone that's going to bring eyes. Nathaniel Wood's very good. He's coming off multiple wins. He's fought really, really good. He's very skilled. He deserves his shot against a bigger name guy that's going to get him ranked like number 15. And I think a win over Ige impressively. If he goes out there and impressively beats Dan Ige, he's ranked 15 in my eyes. He is. And then you can start working him as a prospect up the ranking. So I say Nathaniel Wood, Dan Ige is a great matchup to make. This is a really good matchup. You can do this on the prelims in Abu Dhabi. Boom. Prelims Abu Dhabi, no problem. Dan Ige, Nathaniel Wood, perfect. No problem. Moving on. Michael Johnson. Michael Johnson is a fucking beast, dude. I say you match him up. There's one matchup for Michael Johnson, man. Come on. Come on, dude. You know, Drew Dober, we got to test this again, man. We have to know for sure how motivated he is. I say Michael Johnson, Drew Dober is a fucking sick matchup. Unk versus Unk, honestly. Two guys that have been just all over the lightweight division, have fought so many different people. Varying levels of talent. I think this is a sick MSG prelim. This is a sick co-main event to the MSG This is a sick main co-main prelim headliner thing. You know what I mean? This is a sick co-main for the prelims on MSG. This is awesome. Drew Dober, Michael Johnson. This fight is this is a fight that immediately elevates a prelims card. Like, it does. It absolutely does. You can put this on the main card of a fight night as well, but I think this is a prelim for MSG written all over it. So Michael Johnson, Drew Dober, prelims for MSG. Daniel Zellhuber lost again. I say Terrence McKinney. Terrence McKinney's going to be able to turn around quickly. He had a quick win. I say do this in San Antonio. Terrence McKinney, who I believe likes to fight in Texas, versus Daniel Zellhuber. Put it on Noche. Tell Daniel Zellhuber, listen, buddy, you're turning around quick. We want to put you on Noche. You didn't take a ton of damage versus Michael Johnson. Most of your shots were to the body, even though you did get dropped. But listen, you versus Terrence McKinney, Noche will put you on the main card opener. See if you can get a bounce back win. It's a winnable fight for him. It's approachable. It's one that, hey, man, you survive the first round. You're going to have a strong chance to win this one. I think you can get Daniel Zellhuber in there against Terrence McKinney. So I say Zellhuber, Terrence McKinney, main card opener of UFC Noche. Beautiful. Or a prelim. I'm totally cool with that as well, but it's a fight night, so we know how they're going to do it. Vinicius Oliveira got a win over Kyler Phillips. For me, there was one name that I thought of, and it's Cheeto Vera. I just think Cheeto Vera's got to kind of defend his spot in the rankings here. Vinicius Oliveira is going to keep moving up in the rankings, and we need to see what Oliveira does against better ranked competition. Simply, we do. It has been, he destroyed, he beat Kyler Phillips and really just made Kyler Phillips uncomfortable that whole fight. But Vinicius Oliveira is solid. Like, he doesn't have any technical skill. There's no technique in anything he does, but he's fun to watch. He's a marauder. He has an insane chin, good gas tank walking forward. Let's see if he improves and he fights a Cheeto Vera with a higher guard, because he's going to need to fight someone that's going to teach him to keep his guard high. I see Vinicius Oliveira versus Cheeto Vera. MSG main card opener? Tell me this ain't a great main card opener for the MSG card, honestly. So I say November MSG main card opener. Perfect. This is a fight that'll elevate a pay-per-view. Cheeto Vera on a main card of a pay-per-view, okay. But he's not the main event. He's not the co-main. He's not the feature fight. He's not even the fourth fight down. He's the main card opener. This is a good thing to get things started. If there's going to be a lot of aura in this fight, and it's a great way to get a MSG card started. If you made MSG JDM versus Islam Makhachev, Kayla Harrison, Amanda Nunes, maybe Pantoja Van goes on there. So Pantoja Van co-main, Kayla Harrison, Amanda Nunes feature fight, because don't disrespect Pantoja and Van like that, bro. And then you have a fourth fight of a Yuri Prohaska returning or something crazy. Then you open up the card with Vinicius Oliveira versus Cheeto Vera. Cinema. So that's where I say you put this. Kyler Phillips, I got two options for him here. It's the winner of the Said Nurmagomedov versus Bryce Mitchell matchup that's happening this upcoming weekend. Bryce Mitchell making his bantamweight debut. If he wins, give him a shot at Kyler Phillips, who's going to be ranked number 15 probably. Said Nurmagomedov, if he wins, give him a chance against Kyler Phillips, who will be ranked number 15 probably. I think it just makes sense. The timelines are going to make sense, right? And the spot in the rankings are going to make sense. There's no one really ranked at bantamweight that I would like to give a ranked fight yet. Peyton Talbot's right there, but I think you give him one more fight, look impressive against an Adrian Yanez. He called out Adrian Yanez. If he beats Adrian Yanez, then you give him a Kyler Phillips matchup or something like that. That's how you kind of set that up. So I say Kyler Phillips versus Bryce Mitchell or Said Nurmagomedov, whoever wins. If it's Said, Abu Dhabi card, prelims. If it's Bryce Mitchell, do it in December. I think it's more. I think this is more of a fight night. I wouldn't put this on a pay-per-view. It can be the prelims of a pay-per-view, but it's definitely not going on the main card of a pay-per-view. Even though Bryce Mitchell can sell, but I don't want to see. Thing is, if it's Bryce Mitchell, he's gonna lose to Kyler Phillips, because Kyler Phillips looks like what you depict Jesus as. So it would be interesting to see how Kyler Phillips reacts, or how Bryce Mitchell reacts to that. But next up, Brendan Allen. Let's rip through this. I know we've kind of spent a lot of time here. Brendan Allen, dude, I need this matchup. I need this matchup, bro. Two tards going at it. This would be awesome, dude. Brendan Allen, Reinier de Ridder. I think the reason I think this matchup makes sense is I do think that Robert Whittaker is going to beat Reinier de Ridder. I think this is where the de Ridder train kind of ends. I think de Ridder can beat Brendan Allen, though. And I think Brendan Allen can beat Reinier de Ridder. But it would be dude, this just sells itself, bro. This gets all the hardcores going nuts, being like, these two goofballs in the cage against each other. Perfect. Perfect. If we don't get Reinier versus Dricus, this is the next best thing. Reinier versus Brendan Allen is the next best thing to Reinier versus Dricus, or Brendan Allen versus Dricus. Come on. We need to see this. Two guys with tremendous grappling and jiu-jitsu skill. both goofy at like Brendan Allen is good striking, but he makes dumb decisions. Renier de Ridder has pretty good fight IQ. He's just goofy as hell. So I'd love to see how this happens. This is a fight night main event. Allen versus de Ridder. This is a fight night main event. I love this shit. Marvin Vettori, and do this like it depends on how much damage Renier de Ridder's taking, but I think this has November main event of a fight night written all over it. So yeah, we're gonna move on. Marvin Vettori versus Shara Magomedov, main card opener of Abu Dhabi. Give Shara a chance to get ranked after he destroys Marc-Andre Barriault. And Marvin Vettori, this is a winnable fight for him too. He needs an easier fight. I think a Shara fight's pretty approachable, pretty easy for him because he's going to be able to out-grapple Shara, but he may stand on the feet with Shara, and he has an iron chin, so we'll see how this goes. But I think this is a pretty obvious matchup that you should be making at this point if Shara wins, because Vittori's got to defend his ranking spot. He does. And if he beats Shara, you can justify him staying in the rankings here. But you give Shara the chance to get ranked, so I think it makes sense. Marvin Vettori, Shara Bullet. Shara Bullet's a big name. Marvin Vettori has fought for a title. This is going to be a main card opener of Abu Dhabi. It has it written all over it. Ateba Gautier, great knockout win. I think a Dustin Stoltzfus matchup makes sense. Listen, I don't want to rush this guy. He's 23 years old, allegedly. Let's see how he does against a guy that can kind of mix it up. Like, Dustin Stoltzfus can grapple. Let's see, and he's crafty, right? He's a crafty vet. He has, wins here in the UFC. It's not like he's fighting Ateba Gautier fought the lowest of the low in Jose Medina. Then he fought the next lowest, which was like Robert Valentin. I think that if you do Ateba Gautier versus Dustin Stoltzfus, this is a good, crafty little matchup. This is a prelim of Abu Dhabi written all over it. Good hype fight. And it's a craftier fucking veteran here. Not to Lucas Tracy this thing again, but it's a guy he can mix it up. He can make things interesting, in the fight. And we'll see if Ateba Gautier just puts him away. Then you start to give him the guys with bigger names. You give him not a ranked matchup, a more dangerous guy like a Mansour Abdul Malik. You give him some of those other talented, like you give him the mirror shark test after that. You can give him, but I think he needs one more to say, okay, he's fought against a guy that's a little bit trickier, a little bit craftier. He's won by knockout. Now we got to really test him a lot more because you don't want to rush this guy. He's 23 years old. He can be a legitimate prospect. He can become a star just by how he fights. Dude, slow roll him a little bit here, but give him matchups that are increasingly more difficult. Like a Dustin Stoltzfus is a little bit more difficult because Stoltzfus, he can strike, he can grapple. He's not exceptional at both, but he's decent at both. You know what I mean? Like he can hang in there and he's craftier. So I think this is a good matchup to make. Abu Dhabi prelims. Islam Dulatov has Abu Dhabi written all over him. I think you give him Chris Curtis. I think this guy's a little bit more ready to go. I think because he's 26. Like Ateba Gautier is 23, and he showed great patience and stuff, but Islam Dulatov looks completely ready to go. Has more experience fighting than Ateba Gautier does. Has a bigger name than Ateba Gautier does. I think he's ready for someone like a Chris Curtis, and I think this is the perfect time to match him up because you got to give Islam Dulatov someone with a name because he's a bigger name. You're building hype with him. I think you do Islam Dulatov, Chris Curtis. Chris Curtis is coming off a underwhelming performance against Max Griffin, but he's a name, right? Sean Strickland will be there at Fight Week for you, so that way there's a name there. Dude, I think this is a winnable fight for Islam Dulatov, and I think he's going to catch Chris Curtis at the right time. Curtis is 38. He's cutting down to welterweight now. He's looked worse in his past performances. Like, he looked decent against Kopylov, but he looked really bad against Max Griffin. And I think this is a good matchup for Dulatov to say, okay, I'm going to put it out there, and I'm going to fight a much better guy who's going to be a lot harder to put away, but, I stand a chance in this one. And it's a big name. It's someone he can build off of. So I say Islam Dulatov versus Chris Curtis is the right matchup to make. Again, this is a prelim for Abu Dhabi. Perfect. This Abu Dhabi card can be stacked. You know what? I'm making an Abu Dhabi card maker very soon. So that's coming out soon. And the October card. I'll make one for that too. The October pay-per-view that's not Abu Dhabi. Jimmy Crute, I think he wants to be in Perth. I think he should fight in Perth. It's coming up. Say Dustin Jacoby. Dustin Jacoby will probably be pretty ready to go. I know he had an injury, but he's probably healed up or close to healed up by now. And I think this is a very approachable matchup. It's one that Jacoby's going to be able to outstrike Jimmy Crute. He's just got to worry about staying on the feet. But Jimmy Crute, if he can get this to the ground, has a good chance of submitting Jacoby. I think it's interesting. The winner of this will get a ranked opponent. If Jacoby wins, he should get a top 10 ranked guy. He should get a Bogdan Guskov or a Nikita Krylov winner, like whoever, something like that. So I think Jacoby versus Crute makes sense. They called it out. Perth, make it happen. Ryan Spann versus Mick Parkin. Prelims of, a fight night, main card of a fight. I don't care, dude. Put this on a fight night. It makes sense. Mick Parkin's got wins over Lucas Bursky and like Muhammad Usman, and it's got him ranked like 13 or 12 somehow. Yeah, no shot. Give him Ryan Spann. Let's see how this one goes. Spann's going to be faster than him. Spann's going to be probably better. He's got a better submission game. But can he, make it through the rankings here? I think it makes sense. So Ryan Spann, Mick Parkin. Bruno Ferreira, great win, again over Jackson McVeigh, lower level comp, rebooked the Ikram Aliskerov fight for Abu Dhabi. Bruno Ferreira's fought there before, he's willing to do it again. Ikram Aliskerov obviously is willing to fight in Abu Dhabi. Prelim headliner, Bruno Ferreira, Ikram Aliskerov, Abu Dhabi. Done deal, call it quits, no problem. No problem. Maybe this one is in Abu Dhabi. Maybe this one you can put on MSG as a prelim headliner or something like that. But Ikram Aliskerov, Bruno Ferreira, prelim headliner of Abu Dhabi is the perfect spot. Make it happen. Bruno deserves this. It does, and the winner gets a ranked opponent, so it's perfect. Carly Giudice, Juliana Miller. Let's give Carly Giudice one more just flatline KO for her resume here, so that way we can be like, all right, now it's time to just jump her into the rankings or one of these girls that are more talented, because Carly Giudice is very fun to watch fight, and I think she's very skilled. I just don't want to rush her too much because she is a little inexperienced in MMA professionally. So let's not rush her too much. Let's get her another easy win, get her more time to train and be in the octagon. And that's that. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe. I thought I cooked on this matchmaking video. Let me know what you think of these matchups.